Welcome to the training session on how to add voice over your PowerPoint slides. Now, this workshop is part of the CAES Digital Training and Learning Series, initiated through the Office of the College Dean for Teaching and Learning, Professor Naveen Shetty. In this short training, we will see how you can add your voice to your PowerPoint slides and package the presentation along with your narration, all your timings, animations, etc., so that the students can download it and watch and listen to it as a PowerPoint presentation or as a video, just as if you're speaking to them in a physical classroom. If you don't mind, I'm going to mute your mics now. But you have the option to unmute yourself. This will just reduce the background noise and my voice will be more audible. And I won't be able to answer your queries while I'm explaining, but I will pause in between to allow you to ask questions. Please remember, when you want to ask a question, unmute your mics. I hope many of you would have used Zoom. If not, the unmute button is at the right top corner. Now, you may be already having a PowerPoint presentation that you had planned to use for your face-to-face lectures, but under the current circumstances, it may be impossible to present it in a physical classroom. So the second best option is to add a narration or voice over to your slides and upload it to your Moodle webpage, or even send it via email or upload to the cloud. Before I continue, I'm just going to send a message over chat. Please reply if you can see. Okay, thank you. So to continue, so the first step before you add narration to your slides is to prepare your slides. Now, for a good PowerPoint presentation, you may be knowing that, you don't want to add paragraphs and paragraphs of text, but rather it's better to stick to bullet points and pictures to communicate the information effectively. And it is advisable to add only a few bullet points per slide. And this will help to capture the attention of the students instead of them sitting there trying to read your text while you keep talking. You can also add animations and transitions to your slide. And some may even hide a few slides. That option is also there. And this is only if it's needed. For example, if you want to add some extra information, but you don't want the students to see it right there, but would like to see it later, then you can also hide your slides. These are simple things you might be already knowing in PowerPoint. You can also embed a video into the slide. Now there's something you need to remember regarding a video. If you want to use a video, it has to be embedded into the slide. You cannot paste a link. If you paste a link, it will not work because the students will not be able to click on the link during the slideshow or in a movie. And the same applies to any other external link. Another point to remember is, while recording your narration, you cannot go back to a previous slide. If you do that, your narration will override what was already recorded over that slide. So if you wish to reuse a slide or one of your previous slides, it is better to copy and paste it where you want it, and then you can record your narration over that. Also, it's a good idea to use a script. It'll help you to know exactly what you're going to speak over a particular slide. Many of the lecturers are confident in doing the presentation without that, but personally, I prefer to use a script. So with this short introduction, let's see how to add narration to your slides. I'm now going to change my screen to my PowerPoint slides so that you can see what I'm doing. Please bear with me for a few seconds while I'm doing that. I hope you can see my screen. Now, if you haven't already prepared PowerPoint presentation, you can open it and try to look at the options as I go through the presentation. But you'll have to open it on a separate device. But if you don't have a separate device, you can just follow me as I show it on the screen. By the way, I'm using PowerPoint 2016 version. As per my understanding, that's the version which is uploaded on most of the laptops at UKZN. The later versions, for instance, the Office 365 version has a recording tab, but most versions will work more or less the same way with more or less the same option. Now, in order to set up the narration, you go to the slideshow tab. That's a tab here, the top line here. And under the slideshow, the most commonly used buttons are rehearse timings and record slideshow. So I'll go through both of these just for you to understand what it is. Now, you don't have to rehearse your timings. If you want to record your narration straight away onto your slides, you can go straight to record slideshow. Let's go to rehearse timings tab. Now, rehearse timing tab, that will help you record your timings over each of your slides. Please remember, it will record only the timings and not your narration. So this is more like a practice run for you before you actually record your narration. So I'm going to click on that, and as soon as I click on that, my slides will go into slideshow mode. And you can see a toolbox here that will show the recording. You can see the time advancing as I'm talking, and that is the time you're recording your narration over that particular slide. Now, if you wish to pause in between, maybe just to gather your thoughts or grab a cup of coffee, you can do that by pausing the recording. So your recording is, your narration is actually paused there, rather your timing is paused there, and when you're ready, you can resume your recording. So the time will continue from there. So this will give you an idea about the time you're spending over each slide. Now, if you're not happy with what you said over that slide or the time you spent over the slide, you can always reset the clock or redo it. And this is the button to redo it. It's a repeat button. You click on that, so the clock is reset. And you resume your recording, so the new timing is recorded over that slide. You can also see the total time you spent for the presentation in the extreme right corner here. So this will give you an idea about the time you spent over each slide and the entire presentation. Now, rehearse timings option can be useful only if you want to set up your presentation to play at a certain speed without having to click through the slides yourself. Many a times, or some of the lecturers would like to do it automatically so that they can concentrate on their talk rather than having to advance the slides manually. In that case, you can rehearse your timings, save the timings, and use it for your narration. Now, just once you've done with your rehearsal of timings, you can close this and a window will pop up. You can save the new slide timings. To see the timings for each of the slide, you can go to slide sorter, which is right at the bottom here. And you can see the time you have spent over that particular slide. Now, please note that while you're in the rehearsal mode, only the time you have spent will be recorded, not your narration. So I wouldn't say that you always have to rehearse your timings. You can straight away record your narration over your slideshow. But if you would like to have a practice run, it's a good idea to rehearse your timings. Now let's see how to record your narration. Now to record your narration, you will need a microphone, and most of the devices now come with a built-in microphone. But if you want a better quality recording, it's always advisable to use an external mic. Now you can record your slideshow either from the beginning if you're just getting started, or from any particular slide. Now, as soon as you click on Start Recording, a window will pop up. So you can choose what you want, whether you want your slide with the animation time and the timings, the narrations, and if you're using a laser pointer, I will talk about that later, all that will get recorded. So it's a good idea to keep both these checked because most of our slides will have animations. Now, be prepared to start your narration before you click on Start Recording. This is because as soon as you click on Start Recording, the slides will go into slideshow mode and the recording will start. So get your script ready and make sure everything is ready before you click on Start Recording. And make sure you speak slowly and clearly so it is audible for the students. So I'm going to click on Start Recording, and you can see that my slideshow has started. You can see the recording here. So my presentation today is about coronavirus. The symptoms, the diagnosis, some of the precautions we need to take, and some of the preventive measures. Now you can see that as I'm talking, the time is advancing. Now these timings will get automatically recorded in case you hadn't rehearsed your timings. So if you're directly starting to record your narration over your slides, it's fine, the timing will still be saved. If you have done this with this slide, you can move on to the next slide. For that, you can click on this arrow here, or you can use the arrow keys in your keyboard. Now, please remember that though now you can see the mouse pointer on your screen, once the recording is saved, you cannot see this mouse pointer. So if you want to point out something, there is a toolbox here, right? The bottom left corner. If you can't see it, if you click on the screen, you will be able to see that. And the third button here, if you click on that, you can see the laser pointer. You can use that to point out specific areas or certain words while you are presenting. Now, you can also, let me show you another way to get your laser pointer. That is to press Control button on your keyboard and click anywhere with your mouse on the slide. So your mouse pointer turns to a laser pointer. So that's the easiest way or a shortcut. You can also choose to use a pen, maybe to circle certain words, COVID-19. I'm not very good at drawing with this. Please bear with me, but that is what you can do. There's also an option to use a highlighter. You can highlight certain sections. You can also change your color and highlight during using a different color. So it's up to you. But these are some of the options you can use in your recording. So once you're finished with this slide, you can move on to the next slide. So in that way, you can continue recording your narration. And when you're done with your narration, you can close the toolbox here, or you can press the escape button on your keyboard. So that will take you back to your slides and your narration and the timing has been automatically saved. Now, how do you know that? You can see an icon here, a tiny speaker icon at the bottom right corner of your slides. Now, if you wish to hear your narration, you can click on that. And remember to increase the volume and you can play back. And you can see that my slideshow has started. You can see the recording here. So my presentation today is about coronavirus. The symptoms, the diagnosis, some of the precautions we need to take, and some of the preventive measures. You can see that as I'm talking, the time is advancing. Now these timings will get automatically recorded. So I hope you could hear the narration which was recorded over the slide. Now, the use of recording slideshow, the record slideshow button here, that is usually used if you want to record your narration over your entire PowerPoint. But if you just want to add narration to one or two selected slides, there's another option. That is insert audio option. So you go to insert. And there is the audio option under the set of media tools. You click on that, you see the option record audio. And if you click on that, a window will open. You can name your audio. It's the audio for the first slide. And when you're ready to record, you can press the small red record button. So the first slide I'm going to talk today is about coronavirus, its symptoms, diagnosis, precautions, and the preventive measures. And when you're done with your audio, you can stop it by pressing this button. You can play back here itself. So the first slide I'm going to talk today is about coronavirus, its symptoms, diagnosis, precautions, and the preventive measures. You can see another icon here. This is the one which I've saved now. Now, this is the previous one. Let me just remove it so I can show this one. Yeah. This is the insert audio using the insert audio option. The audio has been inserted. Now, there are two things you need to remember if you're using this option. Most of the cases when you use this, the audio will not play automatically. You will have to click on the play button to play the audio, and that is not possible when students are viewing a slideshow. So what you can do is you can go to the audio tools. There's a playback tab. In the playback, there is an option, start, and you choose automatically. So the audio will start automatically. So I'm just going to slideshow just to see how that is working. So the first slide I'm going to talk today is about coronavirus, its symptoms, diagnosis, precautions, and the preventive measures. Okay, now I don't know whether you've noticed it, but you can see this icon in your slideshow. I'll go over that one more time. I'll put my slide into slideshow, and you'll be able to see this icon on the slideshow. So the first slide, here, right here. So the first slide I'm going to talk today is, now we don't want that. So there's another option. You need to check hide during show. So if you check that and you go to slideshow. So the first slide I'm going to talk today is about, so then you won't be seeing that icon. Now, personally, I like to add narration to the entire presentation for an easy flow. But if you wish to use this method, there's nothing wrong with that. You can always go ahead. Now, changing narration for any slide. That happens many a times. You have recorded your narration and now you're not happy with the narration and you want to clear the narration and re-record over the slide. And that is possible. I'm taking this slide because there's narration on the slide. For that, you go to slideshow, click on record slideshow. There is an option clear. So you can clear the narration on the current slide or narrations on all slides. So if you clear the narration on the current slide, the icon disappears. Now you can re-record on this particular slide, start recording from current slide. So you can re-record your narration over this particular slide. So what is coronavirus? Coronavirus disease or COVID-19 is a new strain that was discovered in 2019. So I'm re-recording the narration over the slide. When I'm done, I close this. Let me play that back. Remember to increase the volume. So I'm re-recording the narration over the slide. When I'm done, I close this.
Are you right?
I'm not sure whether you heard me. This is a time for questions. So if you have any questions about rehearsed timings and recording your narration, please unmute your mics and you can ask the questions.
Good morning, Dahlia. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, it's Mubango. I just wanted to check with you. I've done the recording using the insert button, like the way you have done it, the second option. But when I loaded the slide on Moodle, it kept on saying that I've exceeded the limit up until I erase all except one slide, and it could take only one slide. So I'm not quite sure if that option increases the limit of the slides that you have.
Yes, that may be a possibility. Even when you add your narrations, it will definitely increase the file size, and Moodle, I think you can upload only a maximum of about 100 MB. So it might definitely increase the file size. But later on during this workshop, I'll show you how to compress your file. Are there any other questions?
Good morning, Dahlia.
Yes.
Can you hear me? It's Bongiwe.
Yes, Bongi, I can hear you.
Yes, I wanted to find out if you can write something on your slides, because I don't know, I would like to write something. I saw you can highlight and then you can draw lines, but I want to write. How do you do that?
Yes, you can. You can use the pen option, right, where you use the highlighter, laser pointer. There's also a pen option, but you really need some skills to write with that pen. But you can use arrows or you can circle it, but writing with that pen, I found it very difficult, but there is an option.
Dalia, it's Shakira. May I ask a question, please?
Yeah, Shakira.
Is there a limit on the timing for a pause? So basically when you're recording and you click pause and you're going for a cup of coffee, whatever, is there a limit on the time you can pause? Thank you.
No, there is no limit. The pause will not be recorded. So if you want to go make your coffee, that's fine. Whenever you come back, you can continue with the recording, provided your screen doesn't go to standby mode.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Dalia.
Hi, yeah.
Yes, it's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
When you highlighted on the slide, I noticed when you come back, the highlighted text was still there. So when you upload, does it automatically show as soon as you play the slide, or it only shows when you're talking?
No, it will show all your highlightings, the markings you do with the pen, everything will be shown, even the laser pointer, everything will be recorded along with your narration.
So when you open the slide, it doesn't show until you talk for that particular point?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Dalia?
Yes.
I don't think I understood. Maybe I lost network when you're trying to explain. So you say you can write, but it's very difficult. That's what you said.
Okay.
On the slide.
I can show you that one more time. So what is coronavirus?
Yeah.
So there is a pen option here. Strain that was discovered in 2019. Sorry, that's a laser pointer. You can use a pen and you can write. That's a very bad writing. So
that's the thing. It's very bad. Is there a way to make it good?
It depends on your skills. Unfortunately, my writing is very bad.
Okay.
I would say the way to make it good is practice. You practice,
yes.
Then you get used to it, then you can do what you want with that.
And you can't type while you're doing it.
Sorry?
You can't type either.
No, you can't type. You can only use the pen.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any other question? Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to mute all of you once again so that we can continue with the presentation.
Sorry, before we continue, it's Twanelo. Can you please, there was a question to say if you start doing the slideshow, will it show where you cycle your points and everything? Can you please repeat that and then play a slideshow so that we see how it goes with the voice when you're playing it?
Okay. So I'm going to show you a demo now. I'm starting to record. So this is my first slide about coronavirus. So if I want to point out something, I can use the pen, or I can use a pointer to point out something. And once I'm done that, I've saved it. I'm going to slideshow to see what I've recorded. So this is my first slide about coronavirus. So if I want to point out something, I can use the pen, or I can use a pointer to point out something. And once I'm done that, I hope you got it now.
Thank you, yes.
Okay. So to continue with the presentation, now you're almost done with your presentation and you have to now package it with all the animations, your pen, your highlighters if you've used it, and your narrations to your computer. And you can then export it as a video file or upload it as a PowerPoint slideshow to your chosen learning platform. In our cases, it's Moodle most of the times. So first I'll show you how to save it as a PowerPoint slideshow. So you just go to File, Save As. You choose the destination. I'm going to save it on desktop. And to name it as slideshow. And remember to save the type as PowerPoint show. If you save it as a PowerPoint, the students will be able to download your slides, use your slides, and some of the lecturers don't like it because they have their own copyright to it. So it's a good idea to save it as a PowerPoint show. So it will be saved as a PowerPoint slideshow. I think I have to share my desktop now so you can see where I saved it. Just give me a few minutes. That's my desktop. Okay. I'm also new to this. I'm just trying to find my way. Screen share. So what is coronavirus? Go one page up. Yeah. So this is my first slide about coronavirus. So if I want to point out something, I can use the pen, or I can use the pointer to point out something. And once I'm done, COVID-19 is a new strain that was discovered in 2019. So I'm re-recording the narration over the slide. Okay. I'm done. I close on to the next slide. So so that is the way you share. You save it as a PowerPoint slideshow. Now, you can also save it as a video. For that, you go to the tab File. There's an option Export, Create a Video. Click on that. And you can choose your presentation quality. This is the highest quality. You can go for internet quality, so the file size is not too huge. By default, because you have got your narration recorded, this will come up, and then click on Create Video. You choose your destination. I'm gonna save it on desktop. It has been saved on my desktop. I'm trying to show my desktop, but I can't find it here. But it will be, okay. Okay, so it will be, I can't show you my desktop, but it has been saved to my desktop. So you can either save it as a PowerPoint slideshow or as a video. And this video can then be exported or it can be uploaded onto your Moodle webpage. Now,
Dalia, can I just ask?
yes, please.
What would happen if you saved the file as a normal PowerPoint?
Some of the lecturers don't like the students to download the slides and reuse it. So
Okay.
they prefer to upload it as a video or as a PowerPoint slideshow. So it's actually up to you. So if you
Right.
want to convert it to a video, you can, or if you want to upload as a slideshow, you can.
Okay, thanks.
Now, the file size for the video or even the PowerPoint slideshow will be too huge. And this is one of the concerns when you add your narration to your slides. So I'm trying to share my desktop with you. If I can do that, I can show you the file size. Let me just try. Just give me a moment, please. Yes, I think I've got it. I hope you can see my desktop now. So this is a slideshow we had saved previously.
Yes, we can.
And you can see that the file size, the size is 1.45 MB. And this was the original PowerPoint slides I had made, and that was only 554 KB. When it was saved with the narration, it increased to 1.44 MB. And this is a video, and that has further increased to 8.57 MB. And that is a huge file compared to the amount of narration we have recorded. So if you have a 10 to 15 minutes presentation, the file size will be huge when you add narration to it. So the best way to reduce the file size is to use an application called Handbrake. It's a free application. It's available online. You can download it and install on your laptop. I've already installed it on my laptop, so I'll show you how it works. So you open Handbrake, and that is a screen. You can drag and drop your video here. And you can choose your destination where you want to save your compressed video. I'm going to save it again on my desktop. I'm going to name it as video compressed. Now, to compress a file, you click on the green button at the top that's called the Start Encode. So when it is compressing, you can see the progression here at the bottom left corner. The green bar is increasing as the compression is progressing. So now it's done. When it's done, Q finish can be seen here. So you go back to the desktop. That's a compressed file. Now let's see the file size. The file size reduced to 2.4 MB. So initially we had an 8 MB, more than 8 MB, that has been compressed to about 2 MB. And not only for video, even for slideshow with narration, you can use Handbrake application to reduce your file size. And that is very useful because it'll help you to upload to Moodle easily. And also for the students, they don't have to spend a lot of data to download it. So it's always a good idea when you're uploading your video or your slideshow to use Handbrake and compress it. It's very easy to do it, and the application is freely available. I'm going to change my screen again. Before I wind up, I want to give you a few tips for recording. So usually it's advisable to upload presentations of maximum 10 to 15 minute length. I know that maybe you've prepared your presentations for a 45-minute lecture, so it is better to divide your presentation into smaller chunks. This is because, as you may be aware, students usually lose concentration if the uploaded presentation is too long. Secondly, whatever recordings you've done, your narrations, your videos, everything is embedded on a per slide basis. So this allows you to re-record a particular slide, just one particular slide, if you're not happy with the narration over that slide. Or you can even rearrange the order of your slide, provided it doesn't affect the flow of your talk. Another point to remember is that the audio you record during the transitions are not saved. So please remember not to speak while your slide transition is going on, or while you're transitioning from one slide to the other. So it's always a good idea to give a brief buffer of silence at the beginning of the slide and also at the end of the slide after you finish narration over a particular slide. And that will give a smooth transition to your presentation. Now, another tip is after you record the first slide, it's always a good idea just to play the slideshow to see if everything is working. You don't want to go too far down the road and then realize maybe your audio was not good enough. So it's always better, if you're doing it for the first time especially, record the first slide and see whether you can hear everything and see everything. So that's all for today's presentation. I'll give you a few minutes to ask any questions, if there are any questions.
Can I ask a question, Dahlia?
Yes, please.
Please, I really didn't follow with the compression of the video. And then that software Handbrake, is it the same as Uni Converter or something? Because I tried to download while you were talking as well, but it didn't give me anything Handbrake.
Okay, Handbrake, I don't know if it's the same, but Handbrake is a separate application, I think. I can send you the link for that. I can
appreciate
email
that.
you the link. Yeah, it's easy. I just downloaded it today morning. So
okay.
It's very easy to download.
I'll appreciate the link. Then secondly,
yeah,
I put in a lot of, I put in animations and video animations to support my teaching. In my experience, you have to have the animated video in the same folder with a slide for it to play in class. And when I try to move that to Moodle, students complain that they can't view the video. I guess it's because the video is not on the same folder as the slide on Moodle. So if I want to embed animation into my slide, how do I do that to make it still work when it's uploaded onto Moodle?
Okay, let me show you how to insert a video and let's see how it goes. I hope you can see my screen.
I see it.
So you go to insert. Among the media tools is video. I will just put a video from my PC. And click on insert. So this is a video I've inserted. Now here, there are a few things you need to do to make sure that the video plays automatically. So you go to the playback, start automatically. Now let's see when you go to slideshow. So you can see that it plays automatically. Now let me try to save this as a slideshow. PowerPoint slideshow. I'll just play from one slide, from the third slide, so you can see how it works. So in that way, you can continue recording your narration. And when you're done with your narration, you can close the toolbar. So now you can see that your video will play automatically. The only thing you need to remember is it's always better to embed the video before you start your narration. Because if you don't do that, by mistake, if you also record your narration over that, then both will play at the same time. So it's always better to embed your video first and then, or in other words, get your slides prepared before you start your narration. I hope this has answered your question.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Dalia.
Yes.
It's Evans. Yeah. Just the compressed video, when you compress it, do you need, does it change the format, or do you need can you play it with the Windows Player Media, or that it requires the Handbrake software, or it decompresses again, or can students play it without any need of additional software?
Yes, the students can play it. It is saved as an MP4 file, so the students can play. They don't need a particular software to play that.
Software, is it? So it just reduces. What about the quality? Does it? I'm guessing it is. You lose the quality a little bit.
The quality will be internet quality, so it's not going to affect much because the students are going to see it on Moodle as a small video.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
Morning, Dalia. It's Gan here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Dalia, just a question on when the entire slideshow is saved as a video,
Yes.
and you had to upload that on Moodle. Could you perhaps, I know you mentioned something, but I didn't quite get that. What is the file size, the maximum file size on Moodle, and is it possible to increase that file size in any way?
Okay, the first question, as per my understanding, the maximum file size you can upload is 100 MB, but now Moodle has got a new option of Kaltura, which I think will allow you to upload bigger videos, but I don't think that is in operation, but you can try it. I can see it on Moodle, but I don't know whether lecturers are using it. And I'm sure there'll be a training that's coming up soon about Kaltura.
Yes, I've heard about that. I think it's going to come through a bit later, the actual thing. But yeah, okay. No, thank you very much for that. That explains what I'm really trying to get at. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Hi, Dalia.
Yes.
Is there a way to edit the narration on a slide without having to re-record that particular slide?
You can edit the narration only for one single slide. The whole narration has to be re-recorded only for that particular slide. Like in one slide, if you want to stop in between and only one part of that one particular slide has to be re-recorded, that won't be possible, but for that entire slide, you can re-record your narration.
Thank you.
I hope there are no other questions.
Hi, Dahlia. It's Hallam here.
Hi,
Just a clarification on the file size issue.
okay.
It is possible to raise the limit for file sizes in Moodle for individual uploads. I can't remember exactly where it is, but when you go to upload a video file in Moodle, you can actually change the settings. However, it's not really recommended. If that happens too much, we'll eventually crash the Moodle site. There's a reason the limits are 100. So once Kaltura becomes more widely known, it'll be easier to go that route. But if you desperately need to upload a large video, it is possible to do so.
Okay, thanks, Hallam. Thanks for the information. Okay, so I hope this presentation, yes.
Sorry, I am a very slow learner, like my students. If I run into a brick wall while practicing, how do I get back to you to say, please help me out with this?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
If I get into a brick wall while preparing my slides and I need help from you, how do I contact you?
You can always email me, and we are going to upload this video on the College of AES Teaching and Learning website. So
I saw Bobby sent the link already.
Yes, you can see there, or you can always contact me via email. Whatever I can help, I can help. Or if not, I can direct the query to ICS.
Thank you very much.
So if there are no further questions, I hope this presentation has been useful to you, especially at the situation when all of you have to upload your lectures online by the end of this month. But if you have any comments or queries, like I just said now, you can always email me. I can try to help out, and if I can't, then I will always divert your query to ICS. And as I mentioned before, I will also email you the link for Handbrake, and I'm sure it will be of use to you. Thank you. Thank you for attending this workshop.